Your involvement with The Good Life, did that start from scratch? Were you there sort of designing the sets?
That was a total involvement from actually finding the original locations with a production manager and John Howard Davis, who's the producer, from instigating those first locations to actually sort of designing the whole series. It's in Northwood, Northwood, Middlesex, Kew Ferry Road.
That's it. Yeah. So it's there. Yes.
Yeah. And it was a total involvement. It was a marvellous series to work on, although the perceptions of the first 7 episodes, we used to do them in blocks of 7, everything was based on viewing figures, of course.
Even then, back then?
Yeah,
right.
There was a perception of, mind you, the viewing figures were far greater, so that, you know, if you started with 6 or 7 million viewers, you were failing.
Yeah.
So that was average, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember that the first 2 or 3 episodes of The Good Life first series were watched at that time by, I believe, 6,000 or 7,000 people, if that. But very, very soon, perception of the programme increased and more people watched it. And we had viewing figures, I think, for the Royal Show at the end of something like 17 million, which is well on a par with the soaps now and above.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So it was a series that was very well received at the time, and in many respects still has a relevance now. And it's still shown now, of course. It was shown last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's still on.
The night before last. Yeah. Couldn't get my daughter away from it to do her homework.
Designing the 2 sort of living rooms. You had the French doors at the back that they come in and out of. I mean, that's like. Was it slightly back in your mind, this idea of fast, with English fast doors?
No, very much the opposite. No, very much the opposite. We were looking for a 3-dimensional approach to situation comedy. That is a drama kind of based approach. Yeah. John Howard Davis very much wanted this, and Ron Koplik, who did the lighting, wanted it. Conventionally, situation comedy is in front of an audience, which indeed The Good Life was as well. But the way it was shot and the way it was designed didn't suggest a proscenium. But at least I don't believe it did. No. You might have a different perception of it, but I don't ever think it suggested a proscenium approach. So all the dialogue and the way people moved was as realistic as we could. As dramatically realistic as we could make it. The business of having the conservatory at the back of the set is what you're saying, isn't it? On both. Yeah. It was, I suppose, in a way to heighten the fact that on film, when we saw the house, we saw it from the front, and they were 2 totally different styles. It was a convenient way of conveying the 2 styles, you know, the sort of rather Poe conservatory of Margot and the rather more Edwardian, sort of rather more decayed image of Tom Good's house. Side by side, it made another class and style statement.
One of the early episodes, Margaret has a dinner party outside. And that was all done in the studio that night. I mean, there's the other one with the pig as well.
Yeah, but then we reversed it. So in fact, we looked then towards the house.
Yes.
And so that the patio scene played before the audience.
Yeah. So I was going to say, was that a bit more of a challenge, I guess, to set something outside?
Yes, it was. Daylight and outside scenes are hard to make convincing. It's much easier when you've got interior and you sense the daylight beyond, because the daylight and the outside world can be abstracted and still seem real to the viewer.
Yeah. So when the sets have been established, were there between the series, was there any tinkering with the sets, or were they fairly? I know you established.
Yeah, the living rooms were fairly well established. Although, having said that, the initial decisions about what each character was going to have in order to show the class and the style difference was well talked about with me, and basically setting the style with John Hargreaves, who produced it and directed it. And we weren't slavish about the fact that we had to have precisely the same things on each series, as long as the general tenor of the thing felt the same. And so, because often props aren't available exactly the same, they were all hired, so there were differences, and also differences in the way it was dressed. As you gain confidence with a particular series, you add certain things. The kitchen, over the period of time, became slightly, you notice, if you look at it, that it becomes slightly more dressed and slightly sort of dirty.
I was going to ask you about the Argo in the kitchen. Was that presumably was never actually a real Argo?
It never ever worked. It had an effect inside, and it was fiberglass.
Because that was quite
But probably now, if one was doing it, you'd use a real one.
Really?
The trouble is, bringing it in and out of the studio would be quite a trial. But no, this was a fiberglass one.
And then, as I said to you on the phone, my main memories, the last episode before they had the couple of specials was when they were first introduced. It's very clever because they're all doing a kind of hokey. I don't know, they were celebrating, I'm not sure, 2 years or 4 years of life, and then they run into the room and then it's just completely wrecked. Tell me about how you did that.
From what I recall of that, because from what I recall, I had to do that vandalisation in front of the audience behind black drapes, because we'd already seen. It was either that I'd vandalised it and the whole set was kept covered with blacks for the whole series, but I seem to recall that we had to use that set, and so I had to, whilst the audience was there and behind black drapes, I had to actually create that chaos. But I can't, to be honest with you, totally remember how that was done.
So to shock, so you just pull the drapes back. And it
created a tremendous impact because the audience went deathly cold. It was the first time that, The Good Life has kind of its emotional kind of element in it, but not as dramatically so as that particular scene. And there was a lot of discussion about whether it should have been done in a comedy series, because it had such a sort of dramatic impact.
One of the groups had given each other a handmade card, a birthday card, and they just ripped it in half, and there's this kind of, they tore my card. It was just this kind of...
Yeah, that's right. It was really
arbitrary. And I actually had National Front. Was up on all that. That was really interesting. Was there any reason for that?
I don't know. I suppose it was before these very conscious days of political correctness, and I'm sure as a young designer I didn't really deeply think about the impact. It did actually add impact to it, and I'm sure that sort of decision wasn't sort of something that was done by committee. It was something that I actually put onto the set as part of the graffiti without consciously weighing it against the political implications or
I just wondered if that was quite sort of striking that. And then Margot comes in and says that they call the police pigs. And everyone, just that moment, all that. There's no
pigs,
comedy.
I think, was scrawled up on the wall as well.
Wasn't it? I think so. And then after the last episode, there were 2 specials. There was a I remember there's one with the Queen,
Christmas special, and then one with the Queen.
And the very last one.
Which I think I'm not sure whether the Queen is shown, whether the presentation is shown on that.
I remember seeing it with the Queen and the coming in, and then when they repeated it, I guess it was conveniently they just missed off the bit with the Queen.
That's right. So I remember particularly sort of John Howard Davis being most concerned about me, because all he ever saw me in was T-shirt and jeans, looking scruffy, and he was quite concerned about whether I was going to be presentably dressed for the Queen. Like if we went to Mossbros, I think I ended up looking better than he did, actually. He was in a...
Well, did you all stand in a line or something?
Yeah.
There's all that. Right.
Yeah.
You have to, don't you?
Yeah, but certainly, I also, again, to be absolutely brutally frank and honest with you, I mean, after the first series, I didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to go on and get back to, establishing myself in the drama field more. But that decision was taken away from me because I was told in no uncertain manner that I had to continue on it. But I mean, in hindsight now, I think that it was a significant program historically.
Oh, actually. Oh, yeah. I like the fact they keep repeating it. Shows
yeah.
Did you design that truck thing, that car truck that Tom drives?
A lot of the accoutrements like that, the effects, like with the effluence digester, for instance, I drew it, but the realisation of that was done by visual effects. So there were one or two items like the wheelbarrow thing that were visual effects, in consultation with us.
And the garden as well, was that your...
The garden was totally
layout?
My layout.
Right.
It was established at the beginning of each series, so that whole garden was rotivated each time. There's a gap, I can't remember what the gap was between each series, I think 4 or 5 months maybe, and each time we had to reinstate, put turf back, get them back to normal, and then the next time we went.
And this was a lived-in house, this was, you just had to borrow the...
We then rotivate it again and put the pigs and sheep back and built the pink greenhouse, all that sort of stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Talk to you.